All right, good evening, everybody. Today is Wednesday, November 12th, and we have a public hearing. And I will read the public notice that has been legally processed. So the town of Canton notice a public hearing on proposed local law. Please take notice that for the purpose of adopting a codification of the local laws and ordinances and certain resolutions of the town of Canton, said codification to be known as the Code of the Town of Canton. A public hearing will be held by the town board at the town hall in the town of Canton, November 12th, 2025 at 5:45 p.m. to consider the enactment of the proposed local law described and summarized below. A proposed local law number 4 of 2025, law to provide for the codification of the local laws, ordinances, and certain resolutions of the town of Canton into a municipal code to be designated the Code of the Town of Canton. This local law, number 1, provides that the local law be included in the code as Chapter 1, Article 1. Number 2, provides the designation of the local laws, ordinances, and certain resolutions of the town of Canton as the Code of the Town of Canton. Number 3, retains the meaning and intent of previously adopted legislation. Number 4, provides for the filing of a copy of the code in the town clerk's office. Number 5, prescribes the way amendments and new legislation are to be incorporated into the code. Number 6, provides for notice of enactment and legal publication requirements. Number 7, establishes severability provisions with respect to the code generally. Canton T notice of public hearings -2. Number 8, repeals local laws and ordinances of a general and permanent nature included in the code, except as provided. Number 9, saves from repealing certain local laws and ordinances and designating certain matters not affected by the repeal. 10, provides for certain changes in our additions to the code. 11, provides for interpretation of titles, headings, and editor's notes. 12, prohibits tampering with code books with offenses punishable by a fine of not more than $250 or by imprisonment for not books with a I think we might be missing a word there, with offenses punishable by a fine of not more than $250 or by imprisonment for not more than 15 days or both. Copies of the local law described above and of the code proposed for adoption there are on file in the office of the town clerk of the town of Canton, where the same are available for public inspection during regular office hours. Please take further notice that all interested people will be given an opportunity to be heard on said proposed local law at the place and time aforesaid. Notice is hereby given pursuant to the requirements of the open meetings law of the state of New York that the town board of the town of Canton will convene in a public meeting at a place and time aforesaid for the purpose of conducting a public hearing on the proposed local law described above and as deemed advisable by said board, taking action on the enactment of said local law dated 10/22/25 by the order of the town board, town of Canton. Oof. Okay. So, I did hire.
You two are on 3 times, in case anyone's wondering.
Oh.
You knew that. I did not.
I will be for quite some time.
Yeah,
Okay,
for a while. Good long while.
so, thank you to the committee for all the work. Thank you to Heidi and Mike for all the work, working with E-code on this. I gave you each a general code, adoption checklist, and I'm pretty sure we've met everything, in order. I did speak with Eric about this a couple of times, and, there is no need to do a state environmental quality review process.
Just to note, that's the opinion of.
E-code.
Yeah, V-code, yeah.
Do you feel we need to do one?
Don't know. It's close. So
And it would be the part 2 of the secret? or the part one?
It would be the full, the seeker analysis.
The whole,
Both of them?
Yeah, so what, for. If you look down through what they've done, a lot of it is type 2 stuff, which is. It doesn't require the seeker analysis. There's one provision. I'll tell you which one it is. There was, a notation that it looked like the code didn't include sufficient language to actually prohibit anything, and they proposed a new section. That's like,
we code.
yeah, Eco did, and that's like right on the let's say on the verge of meeting seeker, right? If they're finding that we don't need it, run with it and see what happens. I just think it's right on the border,
What's, is there liability for us?
Yeah, what happens if we're wrong?
I mean, they could make you redo that particular section.
To the point. I mean,
I mean, you're adopting, you're gonna adopt, somebody'd have to commence an action saying, hey, this required seeker, you didn't do it, we want you to re-adopt it.
so I know it's a lengthy process to do a one. And but you're saying we gotta do a 1 and a 2,
Yeah, it would
But-
require the,
but if we did it. Now we're covered.
yes,
And it's a lot of pages where we would sit here and answer the questions, yes?
oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
the way seekers is set up, right, it's not. They force the municipalities to go through the exercise of it when you're adopting the local law. Does it make sense? Is it structured in such a way that it makes sense that you do it when you adopt? It's not. It's, it wants very project specific kind of analysis that just you don't do when you adopt a local law. So, you end up going through time and time again saying, no. Is this gonna have any impact on, endangered species? Well, to adopt a local law. No, it's not. It's not gonna have any impact on water. It's not, everything is project specific, right?
So if we table this and then do a secret, do we have to have another public hearing?
Just not on the local law, just on the, you would do it as part of the secret analysis, and it would, because this is a, there's nobody else who's got a decision with regard to this. It would be not a coordinated review. We wouldn't have to send out the notices to any other involved agencies, right? It would just be the town camp thing. It's a close one. I don't know that I can be all that excited about telling you to hold off on doing it.
It's that close, better safe than sorry.
So
When we did it, we didn't change any laws, did we?
Hmm?
We didn't change any laws when we did it, did we?
Well, but I mean,
We tried to just clean up language. So I don't understand
well,
why it would be different, different
the-
than with what the existing law
the
was.
part that you did with me and Heidi and Mike is, but
They added.
we actually redid the whole code with River Street,
And there's quite a few.
and there was
Quite a few.
there was significant changes there, and so that but we must have done We must have done the seeker.
I remember
We
going through the
must have done,
seeker
we must have done the
process.
seeker for that. So if we did a seeker for the new code.
Well, that's the
basically,
zoning, isn't it?
well, that
Yeah.
was, yeah.
That was that whole
that was
5-year zoning one.
uh,
This one, I think, we haven't done any in my,
No,
memory.
this is,
Secret did was, you're right.
this
yeah,
is,
zoning.
yeah,
the,
Okay.
yeah, so. Is it proper to, ask for any other public comment? Then we table it, or I'm trying to.
Yeah,
understand first.
I would see if there's any other public comment.
Okay,
So, I don't know how. Thoroughly, how deep in the weeds we wanna go. With this, there are a couple other, just minor, like I found one typo. One of the sections of law was, I think. It didn't compare with the data that Mike had sent me on the proposed changes. There was just one section that was off by a letter or number. There's, you're supposed to have the language of the local law in final form when you adopt the local law. And some of the language was mostly in final form. So again, they've spent an awful lot of time on this and they've done an incredible amount of work. I don't know how. Nitpick we would want to be.
well, with that being said, let me ask if there's any more, if there's any public comment. If there is, if you could, identify yourself and limit it to 3 minutes to give other people an opportunity, that would be helpful. So is there any other public comment regarding this? Okay, so with that being said,
motion to close the public hearing.
we're gonna table this, though?
We can, but it's on the,
It's on the agenda. We'll discuss it then.
We'll discuss it when we get to the agenda.
Okay, so, motion to close the public hearing at 5:57 by Jim Smith. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, carried. Okay.
We still have. Me talking about it doesn't. Isn't public comment, is it? I was just gonna.
No,
I wanted
no,
just to.
no.
The section in particular where there was the addition of. Some language that I thought. Brought it right to the edge was the section on. Junk and outdoor
Mhm.
storage
Mhm.
didn't have the operative language. That the statute was concerned about.
Mhm.
Right? So that. You're adding an actual piece of legislation. Into the code. You're not just cleaning up a statutory reference. You're not changing the penalty provision of something that's already there. You're actually adding a prohibition from doing certain acts. Right? And the question is, well, is that a type 2? It's probably not. It's probably an unlisted activity that you should at least take a look at. Or at least arguable.
Okay. So it is on the agenda and, we'll discuss it further then. We got one more minute and then we'll call the regular meeting to order. Oops, I think I'm ready. Yeah. Yes. Okay, I am calling the regular meeting to order. Welcome to everybody. And before we get to business, I'd like to offer congratulations to Jim Smith as the elected town supervisor for a 3-year term, Heidi Smith Congratulations to Tom Quick for a 3-year term. Stephen Smith, congratulations for a 3-year term. Greg Kayas, newly elected council member for a 3-year term, and then Justice Mike Morgan for a 4-year term. And John Tyo, right here, to a 3-year term. Congratulations to everybody. Okay. Approval of the minutes. We have 5 sets. October 6th, October 8th, October 22nd, both the special budget meeting and the joint meeting with the village, November 5th. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Or a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Carried. Correspondence. We have 2 pieces of correspondence. We've been invited to the public meeting on nuclear power from Assemblyman Gray. There is a session tonight in Watertown and then tomorrow at Clarkson University to talk about nuclear power. So I did ask Mike McQuaid to go to that, and any board members, are you interested in going?
Randy and I signed up for it.
Okay,
We're the solar committee. I mean, it's not solar, but I mean.
It won't be that way either.
well, I did attend the one in Alex Bay, and I have to tell you, I was pretty impressed with the information. It's not what you think, that's, down in Oswego. It's really, really, the technology is pretty impressive in my view. So, yeah, so, and is that at 5:30 tomorrow?
30 to 7:30 tomorrow
Okay.
at Clarkson.
Okay. And then the second correspondence is, and it is on the agenda, we received a letter of resignation from Brett Thatcher. He's been on the ZBA for, I think, 8 years and moving out of the area. So we also received that. And Heidi, I will get you the original letter for the record. Okay. Angela's not here yet. So I'm gonna skip over the town finances report, audit committee.
Yep.
Hey, townwide aid, $106,000, $635.01. DA, 42,502.95. DB, 162,225 and 93 cents. Special fire, 4,588 and 83 cents. Special lighting, $348.28. Trust and agency, 21,155.52, and side B, $51,243.08.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the expenditures?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye, carried. Okay, department reports. Heidi, do you have anything to add to your report?
Did you guys get to read mine? It was the written one went in a little later. Did you get to read it?
Yeah.
Okay, so then no, unless you
Okay.
have any questions.
All right. Stephen, do you have anything to add to your report?
Only thing is to clarify, I got questioned, our new truck at Tracy, if we had purchased a new truck, that's actually the truck we got last winter. That is there for, we didn't go out and buy a truck without board approval. That's just to clarify.
Okay. Anything else? Stephen?
Oh, no, okay.
Okay. Lee, anything to add to your report? Been pretty busy. All right. Cindy, is there anything to add to your report?
Yeah, I have nothing to add.
Okay. Casey, is there anything to add to your report?
I have nothing to add.
Okay, I did get a message. Mike McQuaid is not able to be here tonight. I have not heard from our recreation director. Has anybody heard?
We had a rec committee meeting yesterday.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
but nothing with regard to
Nothing about her attending.
tonight's meeting.
Okay. Okay, so, am I missing anybody? Okay, I need a motion to accept department reports.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second,
Oh,
Can I go back to just something that Stephen, the bypass is in effect now for 310. And so if people know, one, can't explain why they did it. But the detour goes out Riverside Drive to Morley. And then from Morley to Bucksbridge and then back to 310. Yesterday, and I don't know why, they changed the stop sign at the top of the intersection at the top of the hill by Shars Bar is now a three-way stop.
Hmm.
I
Where's,
would-
where's the other stop coming from?
Well, you gotta stop
Well,
both ways on 14
Okay.
and at 27. You know, I've been through that intersection thousands and thousands and thousands of times. I don't ever recall an accident being there. Believe me, there's gonna be an accident. They are not stopping. Though there's a flashing light on top of the stop sign. They're going right through. Somebody's gonna stop. And whoever's behind them, I gotta believe, I don't know, what do you think, Steven? I'm not, I'm not thinking this is a good situation. But just so you know, there is a three-way stop there now. And I assume it's just for the bypass
Detour.
until the bypass is it.
temporary signs, so they didn't even put posts in the ground for it.
It's just, and,
Stood up temporary.
but they've had a state trooper sitting there, writing tickets, so.
Hmm.
It's.
it's hard to understand. Okay, did we vote on the department reports?
All in favor? You
All
have a
in
first
favor?
and a second.
Aye. Okay, great. All right, committee reports.
Highway didn't meet, solar did not meet, but as you said, in line with that, solar, three of us are, Mike McQuaid and Randy and I are going to the nuclear forum tomorrow night at Clarkson.
Mhm.
You know, you say, what's the odds of a nuclear plant showing up in Canton? Well, 10 years ago, we weren't dreaming that there'd be 6 small, community solar projects here and 1 large, so you don't know, best to be prepared.
Mhm.
I would just advocate if Canton is selected and you're all looking at a local law, put administrative fees in there, please.
I think
Can you hand that to Heidi? Yeah. Okay, other committee reports.
Police streets met this week, going over the master plan, specifically talking about the Canton Trail. They're looking at if you look at the way it's written in the master plan, there's implementation at the end and they're reviewing some of that. Right now to expand upon the Canton Trail, I don't know, expand, but they've kind of broken it down into three categories. Wayfair signage from Taylor Park to Remington Trail down through the town, and we've already talked about that earlier. They're also coming up, they thought it would be points of interest. People going down the trail with the trail around Priest Field, the Willow Island, and they're just as examples. And so they're coming up with some of that and with directions for out of towners so they can find that stuff. And then we did some talk about the kiosks we have in town. They're 20 years old, a little outdated. Really tough to utilize them. So they're talking about trying to modernize it, different ways of doing that. Maybe relocating them if possible so that they'd be more efficient as far as someone from out of town comes in, directions. It's pretty interesting conversation on the kiosks. Right now, the way it is, if you go read one of those kiosks, you got the whole village there and you need reading glasses just standing next to it in order to read the parts of it. So we got talking about possibly blowing them up and just having each kiosk for the local area, like this area over here at Willow Island, the trail and that kind of stuff, the footbridge. So It's preliminary. So that's one of the things we spent most of the meeting, talking about. One of the things, and I'll follow through on it, is, you know, obviously, whatever road work next summer's done, you know. Look at that and see what implementation or any suggestions we could make for that, that's all. And then we talked about Prentice Lane again, a little bit, just going through ideas, and right now it's just in a brainstorming point, but once we get against the wall and see what's sticking. So,
Okay. Is there an economic development committee meeting to report out on?
pretty much was everything that was happening in economic development was in Lee's report.
Okay,
That's the beauty of her doing a report. He covers everything we have to say.
Recreation met yesterday, pretty much to discuss, where we're at with Taylor Park. And what DEC is gonna require, to have happen in order to open Taylor Park back up. That was pretty much the whole bunch of it. Megan did comment on, well, she was asked about the new concession going on at the pavilion, and she said very positive on the feedback. They had a good soft opening, and then they got hammered last weekend because it was like 2,000. It was that an under 12 tournament?
You,
And said it was just, that's probably the biggest weekend that they'll have, but she said they did very, very well and had very positive feedback, so.
great.
And I've also heard positive feedback from it. Not that I have much to do in the hockey world, but I've heard that.
You can weather a tournament storm, you can weather anything.
That's right, especially that tournament storm.
Mhm.
And they, I don't, they've got a website and they are going to, you can go and get takeout. Megan did make the comment that she says, I've had a lot of poutine, she said, around, and she said, and I said, did you go to Canada? I've had it in Canada. She said, theirs is very, very good. So.
Because we're all like
Using cheese.
thinking about that right now.
Using
She
cheese.
said, it's,
Okay. Did the Communications and Technology Committee meet, John?
We haven't met
well, we met, but you guys went over everything in the
Yeah.
joint committee
in a
meeting.
joint meeting,
And then we have one coming up Monday
yeah.
Monday,
Yeah.
whatever time it is.
at 3. Yeah.
and I mean, we put that moratorium in place at our joint meeting. And are you going to be discussing,
Mhm.
you know, options?
Oh, yeah, that's,
I mean, we actually have
Topic.
that's the main. topic,
presentation.
yeah.
Because
Monday that day.
I don't know if you noticed, but they had, and I'm sure it was because of our meeting and us putting the moratorium on, but right afterwards, North Country Now had their survey was on, you know, do you think public meetings like that should be available on Zoom? 65% said yes. So
Out of how many responses?
it was 200 or 300 of them, yeah. But I mean, people were, yeah, it's, well, it's like any other, it's like any poll. But the ones that did respond, it was 65%, so it's out there that people, yeah, are thinking about it, and so a moratorium isn't something that lasts forever,
Right.
and so, okay.
All right, the building committee is meeting next week. Sustainability committee. And Isaac McBlot from Jefferson County contacted Barb regarding urban gardens. And there's some funding available, so they came up. First, he contacted Megan Richardson, our recreation director, and then she guided him to Barb. And they come up and actually looked at the garden, yeah, and it's just developing a relationship right now. There's not money per se as far as the funding, but they may be able to purchase plants that might go in the garden. So that's a positive. The Sustainability Day and Green Living Fair, there was a first meeting. They're looking at, having that at SUNY Potsdam at the beginning of October. More with the theme towards resilience, for climate change. That was another thing. Klaus brought up the DEC has renewed their program on the charging stations, and they're looking at the one over, on the other side of Main Street there. One has been down, so they're looking to replace that. There is an event at St. Lawrence University. They're re-looking at the food scrap program. And, the Pirates relicensing was also discussed at the sustainability level. So that's the Sustainability Committee.
And we had a work day Saturday,
What's that?
and we had a work day Saturday next door.
Oh, did you work?
I didn't, I dropped off.
Did you bring, I was gonna say, did you bring your cardboard?
You brought cards?
No,
They did, they had a work day. Right.
that's how I know about it, they asked me for my cardboard.
Oh, okay. All right. It looks like everything's covered up now and
Yeah, they had enough, I guess. They said, Barb said last night they got enough.
it's put down for the winters. So,
My wife can stop ordering.
okay. Any other committee reports? All right, with that being said, Angela, welcome. We saved the town finance report for you.
Perfect, thank you. I'm sorry I didn't run it today. Just real quick to go over, we're looking at a 10-month report. And you can see if we look at total revenues, there's most of the funds. A, B, D, B, we're still waiting for revenue to come in the three that we're waiting to see where they'll fall this year, would be the mortgage tax, franchise fees, justice fees. Those are some key numbers for us in determining the revenue, as opposed to budget, what ultimately would be the fund performance. And also there's always the sales tax to come in yet as well. So, that these reports do not reflect any sales tax for the last 2 months of the year. And so the expenses, the major expenses being payroll, are running according to what we would have budgeted. So, always the other contractual expenditures are not as consistent as payroll going in and out of the general ledger, per se. So I don't know if there's any questions on what you're seeing on the 10-month reports.
Any questions? I did email the board. We did get that fourth sales tax check. It was down a little bit. So we'll put together a full year report to show you exactly what we've received and compare it to last year. But I do believe overall it is down. Yeah, so. Okay, any other questions of Angela? All right. The clerks.
Town clerk's report is we have done the reconciliation again through 2 months. We've balanced everything. If you look at your year-to-date report on that, you'll see that we have a change in revenue of a decrease to the town, and by and large, that's all related to permits. So everything, I think we knew we had an excess amount of permits or unanticipated amount in the 24 year. So that decrease was expected in the 25 year.
Okay, Heidi, is there anything you want to add to that?
No.
Okay. All right, well, thank you, everybody, for your work. Old business. We have the employee travel reimbursement policy. You have a draft of it. I think it still needs some work, and Wayne and I can look at that again. We want to make sure it's completely clear as to the reimbursement of employee travel. Does anybody have any questions or comments about this? We'll just take it back to committee and hopefully we can get this through at the December meeting. The next one is the non-contract employee benefits policy. The board did decide a while ago that this policy would be reviewed and possibly changed on the same scale as when we do negotiations with highway. So it's time, you have a draft, you know, Wayne and I can look at that one more time and, go from there. And then hopefully we can pass that in December as well. Okay. The Recreation Shared Services Agreement, is
So-
there a status on that?
Yeah, it came up last night and, so. Where the little bit of a problem is they wanted to move it to. Originally, we mentioned we're gonna move it to July and December, so later to have it all in the one same fiscal year. Well, if we did that this year. Then. We would end up paying them 3 times for the year, because we haven't finished out our part of the 2025, and then we'd pay anyway, so. Bottom line.
We have fulfilled 25.
Yeah, but for next year, I mean, we have the second half of next year and then July and whatever. We pay in April. In July, right? Is that what we pay right now, or May and July,
I'd have to go
May and
back,
December,
I think
whatever.
it's May.
because we've changed it so many times, Randy.
So bottom line, what came out is we can't change the dates that we pay it. So they're just gonna have to deal with it being in 2 different fiscal years for them. But otherwise, for us to change it now. Sitting down, we end up paying 3 times. We pay our second payment for the. And then we have to pay July and December, like we talked about. No, if we'd have done what we said. We're gonna owe them a payment in May, correct?
If the budget passes.
Yes, we'll owe them payment in May,
It was May and December,
right?
and then I.
But then they ask us to go to July and
July and
December.
December.
Okay, but now that's a new fiscal year for them. So that would be May, July and December, which is too much. So we're not gonna do it. We're gonna leave it as May and December the way it is,
May and December,
the way it is. We're gonna leave it just the way it is.
but there's a lot of language that needs to be changed in that agreement, right?
Everything, that's the only thing holding it up. We have the addendum all done, as far as how much paying annually, took 50% out. But the town will pay, our 164.5 this year for recreation, the village will pay that, and we're gonna continue that going forward. That's really the only language that needs to be changed, because especially since we're not changing the time we're paying.
The senior citizens language is taken out,
Is
because
that
that's a separate.
That's a separate, we did that as a separate agreement.
Okay. So when do you expect we'll get a draft?
Oh, well, after last night's meeting. Should be soon, I'm thinking, if I don't have it next week or so, I'm gonna type it up and give it to them. We'll switch the way it goes.
Okay. Thank you for all your work on that. It's good change. And is it the intent that it's going to be an annual review? And that the agreed upon amount will be put in
Each year,
each year? Okay. Okay, great. All right, new business. Local law number 4, the code of the town of Canton. We had our public hearing earlier this evening and there was no comment. Eric brought some ideas and concerns, and so let's open it up for discussion. If we do choose to pass it tonight, there is a resolution that we have to do that. So I'm opening it up.
I'm leaning towards doing the full blown seeker.
Yeah, based on our conversation earlier with Eric, I'm in agreement with that.
So do that in December.
Yeah,
Okay.
You'll have it all. You'll have it all. Or
Yes.
you're gonna sit here, read through 77 pages.
Can't wait.
It,
You
I-
usually, if I remember from the zoning one, you went through it and checked, and then we reviewed it one by one at the meeting. And if there were any changes,
Yes.
well,
so,
the long one is, it's just,
so both 1 and 2 secret at the
I'll
December.
check and see if there's a way to shorten the process, given that I think it will not be considered a type 1 action, but an unlisted action. I'll see if there's a way we can shortcut the pain of going through that line by line.
I mean, I don't
And stay within the bounds of the secret regulations, of course.
You're saying it's borderline whether we need to do it or not. I'd rather err on the side of doing it so that we don't run into an issue.
Yeah, I mean, you have the topic contained within the local law, but there's no regulation of it. The declarative paragraph that you need wasn't there. So,
Okay, so we'll put that on the agenda for December. Secret 1 and 2. Okay. We'll have to communicate with E-code, I'll contact Mike on that.
maybe you can forward me his contact info and I'll reach out to him. If you don't mind,
I don't know.
just because I want to check a couple more other things with him while we're doing that.
Okay, well, thanks for all your work on that. All right, the number 2 under new business, I need a motion to authorize to close our ARPA bank account as well as the Banner Program bank account. They're no longer needed. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion or questions? All in favor, say aye. Carry. Okay, number 3, Dakota Casserly, I was notified that, he said that he will be resigning from the planning board immediately. And that was, I don't believe it was on the actual agenda or part of the minutes of the planning board, but he did verbally say that to the chair, Ian McKellar. So I've reached out to Dakota twice and, to see if he can give us a resignation letter, and I haven't received anything.
I'm sorry, what?
Has he sent anything to you?
Oh, no. I mean, I was at that meeting, but not to me.
Yeah.
But I have not received anything as the clerk.
So it's an alternate position, which means, he only had 2 months left, and then it's a reappointment for alternates every year. So, just for the record, we can acknowledge that we got word of that, and I will follow up with him again, and see if he can give me something in writing. Okay, we need to reappoint Chairperson Ian McKellar to a 1-year term as chairperson of the planning board. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you. And thank you to Ian for his willingness to continue in that position. So number 5 is not number 5. The planning board alternate reappointment, Ziggy Bar, she agreed to continue on as an alternate for a 1-year term. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, carried. Planning board member reappointment of Betsy Hodge. She is a board member on the planning board, and this is a 5-year term. And I am grateful that she wants to serve again. So I make the motion to reappoint Betsy Hodge to a 5-year term on the planning board. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Carried. Okay, Brett Thatcher, we got a letter from Brett. He's been on the ZBA for 8 years, I believe, and he's moving out of the area, so he did send a letter. Heidi, I will get you the letter, and so we need to acknowledge his resignation from the zoning board. So this means that we now have 2 open seats on the zoning board. So, and I have had a conversation with Matt, and he is willing to serve as the chairperson of the ZBA again. And I'll put that on the December meeting agenda. Okay, thank you to Brett and Dakota for their service. Okay, fair housing officer appointment. This item came up as a result of the grant for the Church Creek grant that we need to designate. We need to have a fair housing officer. I reached out to Mike McQuaid, our current code officer, and I've also reached out to the county planning board. The easiest way would have been the county to do it. It's Jason Hohenhauer, but we would have had to jump through some loops according to the county attorney. So, Mike McQuaid is, willing to serve as the fair, housing officer. So I would, we need, a motion to appoint him. I think it makes sense to appoint him tonight until the end of 2026. And then after that, it would be an annual appointment. And a fair housing officer, this is if complaints come up, for discrimination, regarding housing. So Mike's willing to do it. He was the officer in Governor when he was there, and he never got a complaint, to research or support. But if there is such a complaint, he would work closely with you, Eric, on that and go from there. So is there a motion to appoint Mike McQuaid as the fair housing officer? Effective immediately until December 31st of 26.
I make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second,
Any further discussion or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Carried. Okay. The 2026 budget. We held many working sessions and we're there. So I think if there's any, this is a preliminary budget. This is the last opportunity. If there's any changes that you think we should do. This was a tough one. This was a tough one because we are changing our health insurance plan. And there was a lot of steps to take, financially and legally. We do have the bank account set up. We need to think about, putting the final amount in there. And then go from there. So all the paperwork has been submitted to, Ian. He has sent it to AleraPay, and he believes that, we'll have all the cards for the people that are receiving the health insurance, but it took some money to do that. So are there any changes that anyone's thinking about?
and make a motion to reduce the supervisor's salary by $4,000 and add that to deputy supervisor position.
Okay. Just so I'm clear on your motion. Right now, the supervisor's pay is 22,500. It would go to 18,500. You're making a motion to decrease that. Then increase the deputy supervisor from 1704.84 to 5704.84. So it's a switch of $4,000. So here is the data. So we have a motion. Give one to Heidi, please. Is there a second to that?
I'll second that.
Okay, any further discussion? Comments, questions? So Jim made the motion. We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. There. Okay, so that will be changed in the next version. I have an idea. You know, we went through a lot without having a signed agreement to do the health insurance. We put everything in a contingency fund until we got that signed agreement, and then we put it back. I'm making a motion that we take the $164,500 that is in the Parks and Recreation line item, and we make that zero. And then we put that money in a contingency fund until we have a signed agreement. I really feel that, it's been 6 months since this agreement's been discussed. And I don't understand why it's taken so long. But, you know, we did that legally. For the health insurance, 6 line items. And then we put it back once we had that agreement. So that's my motion. Is there a second?
Wait, I don't understand your motion. Explain it again.
Right now, we have 164,500 in recreation. I'm saying make that 0 and then put that 164,500 in a contingency line item in B. So that when we have a signed agreement, then the board will have to pass a resolution to put that money back. So because I have a motion, I'm gonna ask for a second and then we can further discuss. Is there a second? Okay,
I'll second for the point of the, so we can discuss it.
okay,
I'll second so we can discuss it.
okay.
So right now, we have money in our HRA accounts in the budget, right? We did that.
We're all set from the last meeting. We're all set with all that, those changes. We put back that money.
So I don't understand why, explain to me why you want to do this.
Because we don't have a signed agreement, Randy. It's been 6 months. You guys have been talking about this. So I think it makes sense to move it into a contingency fund until we have a signed agreement, and then you can move it back
The rec,
for the shared services agreement.
You talked about rec.
when is the rec payment due in May? So we're not gonna need that money until May, right?
Yeah, we won't need it.
Right, for
the
half
first-
of that.
We won't need it till the first.
First half, we'll need
You need like, what, 80?
whatever that is, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So say before our next meeting in December, if they come through with the agreement, the signed agreement.
Well, we can't, we have to adopt the budget tonight.
Right, no,
So we
understood.
can't
I'm just
change.
saying,
Oh,
then we could amend the budget
Yeah, we can amend. the
and then
budget.
put the one
After
sixty-four
January
back
1.
in
We can
that,
amend the
back in
budget,
that
not
line.
change
What
the
all
budget.
she's doing is moving it from one to another. It's still in, the money's still
I
in there.
understand that. Yeah.
you know, I feel obligated to add, for 8 years, we have invested in recreation over $1 million between our allocation and the ARPA money. This is a non-mandated service, and we have made it one of our priorities because of the mental health and the goodness of it. But there's got to be that written agreement so that everybody's clear on it. And I just, you know, I just
but-
don't
but
understand why
a point
it's not done.
until 3 years ago. There was never an agreement,
Right.
ever.
No, that's not true.
It is true.
No,
We-
it's not,
we
because when
got-
I started, we got all the agreements in place.
We finished the rec agreement when John and I were on the rec committee. There was no agreement until we got it done. There was no agreement. That not
Okay,
right?
so we still don't have an agreement.
Is that not right, John?
That's correct. You and I worked hard on that, actually.
Yeah.
To bang that home.
Okay, I just, you know, out of fundamental fairness, we did this, for all the health insurance and, you know, highway and we scurried. And quite frankly, that was frightening,
But that was
because
different.
if we didn't get that,
That was different instant, and it's situational than this. Because if we didn't get that, then we would have had to revert whole health insurance. That's not the case in this.
and then we wouldn't have been able to afford that.
That's what I'm saying. It's apples and
Yeah.
oranges,
So
I feel.
So we can do a roll call though, if you'd like.
But I guess there's concern about why it's taking so long to get this agreement done.
It's just a matter, like I said, it's just a matter of getting it typed out and
we were told that 2 months ago.
Well,
I could have typed it up in a half an hour.
I just told you, if I don't have it by next week, I'm gonna type it out. I just made that,
And I type with 2 fingers.
which is one more than I do.
You know, and at our joint meeting, we agreed that we would have an agreement for our meetings. And I followed up with Barb and I was ghosted, no response. You know, and the village meets next week. So, I don't know, it's just disappointing.
I concede that it's disappointing. But we won't need the money until May, and I'm confident we're gonna have the signed agreement by then, even if I have to type it myself, we're gonna have the signed agreement before we're gonna need the money. I don't feel that's necessary.
All right, why don't we do a roll call vote? Heidi,
John,
Aye.
Wayne,
Aye.
Marianne,
aye.
Randy,
No,
Jim,
No,
Okay. So that'll be another change. Change one. All right, is there any other changes? With that being said, we do have a resolution to pass this budget. Let me find it. And Heidi, did you have to do a roll call vote on that? That resolution? Is that,
I mean, I can if you want me to.
yeah. Let me find it.
You're gonna make a motion first. huh?
you need this?
No, I have a copy of the list. Thank you, though.
All right, for some reason I can't find that.
I got it right now on my computer, you want it here?
Oh, no, I probably got it in the green. Let's see. I thought I had it.
There, if you got.
Thank you. Okay. All right. So, this is a resolution adoption of the 2026 budget fiscal year, January 26th to December of 26. Whereas the town board has met at the time and place specified in the notice of public hearing on the preliminary budget and heard all persons desiring to be heard thereon. Now therefore be it resolved that the preliminary budget as amended and revised as hereinafter set forth is hereby adopted and shall be and is hereby fixed at the amounts shown effective January 1 of 2026. Be it further resolved. We need a motion. Is there a motion to adopt this budget?
So moved.
Is there a second? I'll second it. Okay, Heidi, will you do a roll call, please?
John,
Aye.
Wayne.
Aye.
Marianne,
Aye.
Randy,
Aye.
and Jim.
Aye.
Okay, so that can go down to Heidi. All right, I want to thank everybody for all the work on that, especially Brian Gray, the whole team.
Do you want to say?
That was we did a lot to get that done. So, the tax net form has been submitted. We have to submit it the day before we pass the budget. So with that being said, the next item is public comment. This is the time for the board to listen. If you can identify yourself and allow for 3 minutes, and we'll go from there. So is there any public comment? Okay, with that being said, you're not gonna believe this. I do not have anything for executive session unless any of you do. Who would like to motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved.
Was there a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Carried. Look at that, an hour. Good night, Cindy.
The record's still 30.